Hi, I'm Dr. Angela Yeagley. Welcome to Sage Health TV and your weekly health booster. Today I'm going to be talking about nicotinamide riboside. From here on, we're going to just refer to it as NR because it's a mouthful. But what that is a form of vitamin B3. And so why is that important? It's actually, NR has become one of my favorite additional tools to help with energy production in people, as well as like increasing brain clarity and focus. So right now it's being studied in longevity, looking at like how does it actually increase energy production in the cell, which again, we're all made up of all cells. So when we increase the cell life, then we have an increase in longevity. However, that's not why I'm using it. It's just an interesting fact of how it's being used right now, or what the researchers are looking at. So what does it do? So NR is actually a precursor to NAD. I know we're getting a little technical, but NAD is, again, getting into the cell. It gives energy to the mitochondria. And so what we find is that mitochondria, again, make all of our energy. So we experience energy, as well as it's a really key component in metabolism. So very, very important. So what would, what part of the body, like what area is going to benefit most? So really, people... the brain has a huge uptake of NR. The liver, so we're getting into detoxification. Actually, the nervous system, so they find like people who have diabetes actually have a very low amount of NR and a high demand. So when we're looking at people who might be experiencing something we would call oxidative stress, or we could just call it stress, it actually depletes your reserves of NR. So that might be a chronic illness, that might be stress that you're experiencing in your daily life. Alcohol consumption has actually been associated with decreased levels of NR, as well as flying. So when we're getting into radiation. What they found is that when, in the studies, when you bring in NR, when you give the body additional NR, that energy goes up, many things improve. So again, the things that we experience, like I personally have, I'll do NR occasionally, and I notice an increase in my energy, and I notice, an increase in my ability to focus. And it's very gentle, very safe. There's, for the list of like potential side effects are almost none. But it's definitely something you still want to talk to your doctor about before you're starting to make sure it fits within your regimen. But when I'm looking at other like things that it might help someone. So when somebody's experiencing chronic illness, we might be bringing this in so it helps everything work better. It helps the body process, chemicals you might be exposed to. It helps the body detoxify. For instance, they did a study looking at hearing protection, and they found that when NR was boosted and somebody was exposed to a large amount of noise, say you might have at a concert, or somebody who maybe does this for a living, say if they work in construction, or if they're a musician, that there is a very strong protection of someone's hearing and preservation of their hearing, which is really important. They also found that in cardiovascular disease, there's protection. So a lot of other great benefits beyond just like feeling better and having more focus. And then related, this is something you can get over the counter. However, I do caution people, so it works with everything that you're doing, that you come and see us. We would love to see you to give you guidance, or talk to your doctor about it. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time.